Hi there, this is Anna here from Astral Hygiene, doing this week's live via Instagram. It'll also be shared on Facebook and on YouTube, so if you want to join us on those media instead, then that is obviously very welcome. A wee share would be really appreciated also. So this week we're talking about public toilets, and I kind of have touched on this over the years in other kind of blogs and vlogs that I've done, but this week I want to focus on public toilets and the kinds of things that are lurking around there and the ways in which you can effectively protect yourself. So let's get started. So obviously, due to the volume of people passing through public toilets, they are kind of a hotbed for bacteria and viruses, simply because of the nature of what's going on in there. One of the kind of hotbeds for bacteria would be sinks, because they're continually wet. Moisture, heat makes sinks a real hotspot for bacteria and viruses breeding. So if you are managing a public toilet facility, or if you are entertaining a public toilet, i.e. going in and using it, make sure that you don't really touch the sinks. Other areas that are real hotspots for bacteria would include the light switches, the toilet handles, the door handles, etc. So when I go into public toilets, I just try not to touch any of it. So I'll push the door open with my arm. I'll just try not to touch the sink. I'll touch the soap dispenser. Obviously, after you've touched the soap dispenser, you're then washing your hands and washing the bacteria off of your hands. With regards to kind of clinical trials, we have done a few clinical trials here at Astral Hygiene, particularly on toilets, and we've swabbed a number of kind of hot spots within the toilets to kind of see what's there. So the bacteria that we have found in public toilets locally would include salmonella, typhoid, Hepatitis A, and Staphylococcus. So none of them are very nice kind of nasties, and they really should be avoided, because if you do ingest any of these, they're going to make you quite unwell. Another kind of area, so that's what is lurking in the bathrooms. So if we can talk about the kind of pragmatics of bathrooms, and I kind of have touched on this in a blog that I did that's called Pros and Cons of Hand Dryers versus Hand Towels, I think it's called, and it's in our blog section, so you can find it there. Hand dryers. So hand dryers are a real hot spot for bacteria, and I just won't use them, and this is why. So when people, and you can't control what other people are doing, so when people are going into public toilets and they are using the toilet and they're flushing the toilet, the majority of people don't actually put the toilet seat down, because the toilet seat is there for a specific reason, to trap the bacteria in the toilet. So the toilet seat isn't going down, then water is going in, stirring up the content, and all of the bacteria and viruses are whooshing into the air, ready for people to breathe in. Really nice. So as your hand dryer is cranked up, as you kind of put your hands into your hand dryer to dry them, the motion sensor detects that you're there, and it starts the motor going, and then it sucks in all the air that is contaminated with bacteria, E.coli, Staphylococcus, typhoid. So these are all being heated up, stick into the side. Bacteria are quite sticky, stick to the sides so that they can then multiply. And then as the air is being whooshed through this machine and put onto your hands, loads of this freshly multiplied bacteria is being spewed out onto your hands. So it is arguable that once you've used a hand dryer, your hands are potentially more contaminated than they were before you washed them. So that's why I won't use them. So hand dryers are a real hot spot, and it does depend on how often you change the filter, but it doesn't change the way that the hand dryer works, that it heats up the air. And you can tell me until you're blue in the face that it's got a bactericidal coating on it, or whatever it is that you want to make up. to kind of appease me, but I'm just not sold on hand dryers at all. Lots of people do think that they are an alternative to hand towels because they are cheaper. Are they cheaper costing you to use? And do you want to run the risk of having lots of bacteria all over your hands, or just wiping it with a single hand towel and popping it in the bin? Hand towels that we sell here are all sustainable, from sustainable forests. They do carry the EU eco-label logo on them, which is a demonstration that have been accredited as being sustainable. So it's not just a claim that we're making, they have been proven to be sustainable. So we can demonstrate an alternative solution to hand dryers, which is more hygienic. So obviously, because toilets are public washrooms are kind of high traffic areas where lots of people are going through any kind of area, obviously bacteria will be present, and the more people, the more bacteria. However, just by the kind of nature of what's going on in a public toilet, you do need to be more mindful of that. A couple of kind of hints that I have with regard to how you as a public consumer, restaurateur, establishment, someone who runs an establishment, can kind of make washrooms a bit more safer. I would say use enclosed toilet roll dispensers, and they don't need to be, cost the earth. A bulk pack toilet roll dispenser or a folded toilet tissue roll dispenser, which I have linked in the blog, is an option. So this is an enclosed toilet roll dispenser. The toilet roll comes out the bottom, and the toilet tissue is dispensed in one sheet at a time. So it is a very economical solution to the problem. It's a sealed container. It is, the sheets come out individually, so it's a very economical solution. An alternative would be the Torque Smart 1 system, which is a bit more expensive. But it is designed for high yield places, and actually trying to get it out the dispenser is a bit of a faff, and you only get a tiny bit out at a time. So most people will just give up at trying to extract loads and loads of toilet roll and just deal with what it is that they've got in their hand to deal with. So that's a kind of alternative kind of solution. The other is obviously good hand hygiene. Make sure that you are providing plenty of good quality soap, that the soap dispenser is always full, that if you are using the toilets, to wash your hands afterwards. I wash my hands and then just wipe them on my clothes. And if we are kind of splitting hairs, there might be bacteria on my clothes, but I'm good with picking up the bacteria that's on my clothes versus the hand dryer spewing loads of bacteria out all over my hands. So I'm good with that. I would prefer that as an option. So that is Public Washrooms 101 from us here at Astral Hygiene. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear them. If you'd like to contact us, drop us a DM, and please give us a little share. Thanks so much.